Let's go live now to Liberal Senator Jane Hume. Jane, thanks so much for your time. Thoughts on finally this meeting being locked in? Are you on Team Australia for this one?
Well, first of all, I'm not giving away Tasmania anytime soon, Laura. I think we should be really clear on that one. Great suggestion from Arthur, but I don't think we'll pursue that one from opposition. Look, this is good news that finally the Prime Minister has secured a meeting with Donald Trump. It's going to be 348 days from when Donald Trump was first elected to the presidency. That's a really long time before you get your first meeting. It's about 3 times as long as it took either Malcolm Turnbull or Scott Morrison to get a meeting with Donald Trump, but it's finally here. So that's a good thing. The opposition is going to be asking from the Prime Minister really to focus on 3 things at this meeting. The first is to secure an outcome for this AUKUS review. Understand what this AUKUS review is about in terms of scope and what the end game is, because let's face it, AUKUS is a fundamentally important agreement for Australia. It will secure not only our strategic safety and protection, but also our prosperity in the future. So that really is number 1 on the agenda. Number 2, though, is also to secure a pathway to these tariffs that potentially will have a much broader effect on Australia. We want to make sure that we get a deal done with the Trump administration, just as the EU has done, as the UK has done, as Japan has done, as Indonesia has done, to make sure that we are protecting those industries that are most important to us, including medical manufacturing, including resources, steel, agriculture. So this is fundamentally important to the relationship between Australia and the US. And finally, and I think this one has probably been missed, Laura, we also want to get a sense of the timing and the agenda of the next Quad meeting. The Quad obviously is made up of the US and Australia, as well as Japan and India. This is a really important agreement and arrangement for Australia, but it's around technology and cyber security, but also for strategic protection and strategic alliances within the Indo-Pacific. So let's get a sense as to when the next one of those meetings. We want the Prime Minister here to really elevate his personal diplomacy, not just with Donald Trump, but also with those 2 other nations. Yeah,
right. That can be a bit of a distraction. It has been a distraction, quite frankly, this meeting, the timing of it, when it won't happen. I mean, we've now got a date for it. It could be 3rd time lucky. You never know what can happen in Washington between now and then. But I just want to ask you about what the coalition thinks more broadly in a policy sense. Obviously, you know, you've been critical of Albanese by not being able to secure this, but when he goes in there, is it, you know, are you backing him, and are you backing him not to bend or suck up to Donald Trump too much?
We always want our Prime Minister, no matter which party he comes from, to act in Australia's national interest. Now, there's been decisions that this government has made that we know fly in the face of that diplomatic relationship with the US.
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
That will have rubbed
do you think it's acceptable?
No
yeah, but I mean, so what? We're allowed to have policy differences with the US. Where's the line there? Or is this a grey area for the coalition?
No, we absolutely are, but with every single diplomatic relationship, with every trade relationship, with every security relationship, there is a quid pro quo. And there needs to be an understanding of what it is that the US need from Australia, whether it be in defence spending, whether it be in security ties, whether it be in critical minerals provision,
climate change, for example. Donald Trump's just gone to the UN and said that climate change is a hoax and renewables are a con job. I mean, if you were in government, would you be agreeing with him on that?
Well, that's certainly not the opposition's position now, and it wouldn't be the opposition's position in the future. We want to see a clean emissions future. I think we've been pretty clear on that one. But that said, there is still so much more that we can do with the US to build that relationship. And let's face it, the Prime Minister has really let down that side of the relationship with the US in the past. We want to make sure that we start rebuilding it for the future. It is too important a relationship to let slide. That's why we want to see him focus on trade and tariffs. We want to see him focus on AUKUS. And we also want to see him focus on those multilateral relationships that we have built with the US over years.
Let's talk about work from home in Victoria. look, we're going to hear from Jacinta Allen sometime in the next hour. She's doubling down on wanting to legislate work from home. Business from the get-go says this is a really bad idea and it should be up to the business and employer. Government should just get out of the way and not be the middleman. Now we have the BCA warning this morning that if Victoria does go ahead with this, it means investment will leave the state and so will jobs. What are you seeing?
We're already seeing that. There's a very good reason why Premier Malinowskis and Premier Minns in South Australia and New South Wales have not adopted this policy, because they're sitting back and laughing as Victorian businesses cross the border, throw up their hands in despair and say, I'm out of here. You know, Victoria has some of the highest taxes in the country. It has some of the lowest, some of the highest unemployment, the lowest growth. And now we're seeing retail crime go out of control in this state. No wonder businesses are packing up and going elsewhere. This is a terrible idea. We think that flexible work arrangements should always be worked out between the employer and the employee, and the government should mind its own business.
Jane Hume, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
You too, Laura.